Successful men and most women are good at one thing: multitasking, juggling a whole bunch of things together. I'm not a very successful man, and last time I checked, I wasn't a woman. I can't have more than one motorcycle. I need to have this one motorcycle that can do everything, which is why I'm testing this today. The Kawasaki Versys 650, recently launched. If you're looking at that engine and thinking, oh, that's just a Ninja 650 and it costs rupees 1.2 lakh more than a Ninja 650, well, you're right, and you're also entirely missing the point. This is not a motorcycle that you measure by its cubic capacity or its horsepower. It's not something that you buy for its innate character. It's generally, the engine at least, it's pretty bland, just like the Ninja 650. If you're the sort of guy that has spiky hair, chappals and a Hayabusa, you should not be buying this motorcycle. However, if you know what you want and you're past the age where you need to peacock for somebody else's benefit, then you should seriously look at this bike. When I say the bike or the engine doesn't have character, I don't mean it in a particularly bad way. I just mean that it does not have any surprises to throw your way. It is slightly different than the Ninja 650 engine in that it has a lot more torque, low down in the rev range. It actually makes less horsepower by about, I don't know, maybe about 2 bhp down from the Ninja 650. But I would trade that for the Ninja 650 any day of the week, because this engine is just so flexible and smooth that you can just twist on in most gears and just shoot forward. It's incredibly useful for filtering in traffic, and you can be the psychotic rickshawala of your dreams on this motorcycle. You can filter through traffic, you can cut lanes, you can do all sorts of bad behavior on the road, and this thing just laps it all up. That's not to say you should do it, but part of the reason why this motorcycle is such a good package is down to those lurid green fork caps that you see there. That is a Showa separate function fork. So the left side that you see on your screen right now adjusts preload, and the right side adjusts rebound. What this means is that this motorcycle can soak up bumps like nothing else in its price range. It's an inverted fork, not very thick, but it works phenomenally well. It's a very underrated part of your motorcycle, the suspension. It's something that you can easily overlook in your quest for maximum horsepower, thinking that you're going to get more speed out of it. But that's an absolute misnomer. That's the rear suspension of the Versys 650. It's a standard unit. It only has preload adjust, but if you look closer, you'll see that the preload adjustment is a simple knob that you just twist to raise or lower the preload. So you can adjust your suspension based on your luggage capacity, whether or not you have a pillion, etc. This is an adventure tourer motorcycle. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be very good off-road. Case in point, it comes with street tires, as you can see there. They're very good on the street, but they're probably not going to help you in the slush or with gravel. You can see closer, they are Dunlops. That's a 160 by 60 at the back, 17-inch rim, and it's a standard 120 in the front. Of course, you could put slightly knobbier off-road tires on this and it would be perfectly capable, thanks to the adjustable suspension. But it's something that you need to watch for. You're not going to be able to straight off get on this and get into Rajmachi and expect to come out with your feet dry. You don't get a lot of extras with the Versys 650. Case in point, the console here. It's a standard analog tachometer with a digital readout here. You've got your trip meters, you've got your range, basic stuff. But it's not something that's going to be looking particularly up to date. It's a little bit of a throwback from the time when Cindy Crawford was a young woman. Don't know who Cindy Crawford is? Ask your dad. The Versys 650 does have a neat pair of clip-on panniers that you can buy as an optional extra. Internationally, those come standard with the bike. What happens is they just sort of clip into these sockets here, and you've got a nice solid luggage system, one on either side. The Versys 650 is an honest motorcycle. Honest in that, not in the way you're honest about what you do on the internet at work, but honest in that it can do everything a motorcycle is expected to do. It can go fast, it can go slow, it can carry a pillion, it can carry luggage. It's got reasonable wind protection, it's got excellent suspension. It's got a nice torquey motor, and not in the way that torquey is used as an excuse for underpowered. It's a reasonably powerful motor, and the torque is actually genuinely useful. This is a motorcycle that you buy if you want to keep and you want to go places with. This is not a motorcycle that you buy if you still have hair and you're putting various kinds of product in it. There aren't that many downsides to the Versys 650. If I had to nitpick, I'd say the throttle is slightly snatchy from on-off position. The sound, well, that's a bit of a bummer. It's a very quiet engine. That muffler there does a very good job of it. But the upside of that is that progress is very smooth. The shifter can be a little bit notchy at times, but I've tried both with clutch and clutchless shifting fairly rapidly, and it does a decent job. At 7.35 lakh rupees on road in Mumbai, you could make the case that the Versys 650 would replace 2 or 3 of your bikes. You could ride it sportily if you needed to, just like your pocket rocket. You could go into a little bit of dirt, like your dedicated dirt bike if you have one. We don't really have those in India. You could commute on it like you do on your standard motorcycle. It's got an extremely smooth and flexible engine. 7.35 lakh rupees for a bike like this with adjustable suspension is not a lot of money. Don't buy it if you need to show off to your mates at bike nights. Don't buy it if what's important to you is color coordinated club t-shirts. But if you need an honest do-it-all motorcycle, the Versys 650 is hard to beat right now.